Welcome back to the Optimized Mind learning module. This is our second week. In the first week, I encouraged you to begin to observe the very, very busy minds that we all have. The 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day that are going on, and most of us haven't even paid attention to what's really going on in our minds. So last week we took inventory and I asked you to write down 3 categories of thinking. First, your fears. Second, your self-judgment. And third, your past painful stories that keep coming to your mind that still haven't been healed and resolved. Thanks to those of you who actually took the time to do that and give the insights that you gained. It was very powerful to see what all of you observed. And so what I wanted to do now is connect the dots between our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, and our life patterns. So when we think a thought, it triggers an emotion. And as that emotion moves through us, sometimes we take action, sometimes we don't take action. We get stuck in doing nothing. And then we end up creating patterns through our life, patterns in how we spend our money, patterns in how we spend our time, in our relationships. We create our life through the thoughts that we think. So if you want new results in your life, then you've got to work on your thinking. So this week, our focus is on step 2 of the Harness Your Power process. So first we observe and we take inventory. Second step now is we begin to consciously create thinking that allows us to experience the type of life that we want. So each of those categories of thinking, we're going to begin to transform. So first, we're going to look at our fears. So for every fear that you have, you're going to transform it into a statement of vision. A fear, remember, is a negative visualization of your future. So you're thinking about something bad that might happen in the future when you're dwelling on your fears. The opposite of that is believing that the things that your heart desires, the things that you want to happen, can happen. So that's a positive visualization or a statement of vision of what you want to see happen, rather than your fear, which is what you don't want to see happen. So for every fear, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, if I don't want that to happen, then what do I really want to have happen instead? And you're going to write down your vision statement. For each fear that you had, you're going to transform it into a statement of vision. The second thing you're going to do is look at those thoughts of self-judgment and self-criticism. We are our own worst enemies, aren't we? And for each of those thoughts, you're going to start to see that you're looking at what's bad about you. And what we're going to do with this kind of thinking is we're going to transform it from the voice of our inner critic to the voice of being our own best friend. So rather than focusing on the bad in you or what's wrong with you, you're going to instead ask yourself the question, what's right with me? What am I doing well? You're going to start writing down thoughts just like you would think of the kindness and compassion you give to your friends. You're going to now start offering yourself that kindness and compassion. So for each thought of self-judgment, you're going to transform it into a thought of something that is self-compassionate. The third category is our past pains. Now, some of us have the ability to be able to work through and begin to heal situations from our past on our own. Some of us have had intense traumas and we may need professional support. I'm not sure what your situation is, but what I'll share with you is that you do have the ability to begin looking at those past pains and begin to heal them to the extent you can on your own. And then to get help and support if you're feeling overwhelmed with that. the beauty of it is when you get help and support from someone who is qualified to help you do the inner healing work, you can make tremendous progress in your healing. But for those of you who want to begin working on some of this at your own pace, in your own way, right where you are, what I would encourage you to do is a couple of things. The first thing is many of those things that happen to us are from our childhood. And what I've seen in my own life, because I've healed a lot of my own childhood traumas, is I've had to go back and sit with the younger version of myself and have conversations with her. So I listen a lot to my inner child at different ages. And I find out what is it that she needs me to know, because oftentimes in the situation she experienced, she did not get what she needed. And she was doing her very best, but she was alone. She needed support. She needed comfort. So now, as the adult version of myself, I can go back in time and I can have conversations with her and comfort her and assure her and hold her and help her and hear anything she needs to express. Now, these processes sometimes will bring up a tremendous amount of emotion. Don't be afraid of emotion. When emotion arises, it's there to be felt in order to move. And the idea is not that we're going to get stuck in our emotion. Emotions are meant to flow through us. So the idea is to express it so that you can release some of what was never experienced that needed to be felt. So as we work through these things, we feel in order to heal. So I say feel it so that you can heal it and move beyond it. The other thing that we're going to be doing is looking at our past pains as what I call sacred wounds. Each of the wounds that you have, they are powerful and they can be turned from pain into deep purpose and into deep wisdom. So as you're thinking back on these past pains, it's key to begin to ask, since this happened to me, how can I learn from it? What can I gain from it from a wisdom perspective? What was that here to teach me? And to begin to harvest the wisdom from those situations as we release the pain of the past. Other tools that are very helpful sometimes are writing letters to forgive ourselves, maybe for things that we feel bad that we've done in the past, or to take the time to forgive others who have hurt us. And that doesn't mean giving them permission or thinking that it was okay, but it's more of a process for you to release the pain of the past. And oftentimes we won't even send those letters. They're letters that we write in order to express the emotions that we have and to let go of the old energies that no longer serve us. So we'll begin to work with those past painful situations to the extent that we can in a very gentle, kind, loving, self-compassionate way. And if you get stuck or if you get overwhelmed in that process of beginning to look at some of those past issues, then seek out support. Get help from a trained professional. And if you aren't sure where to turn, let me know and we'll work together to find a way forward. So this week is about creating our new thought patterns. Now, it might feel difficult to come up with new thoughts. Just do your best. Think about how you want to feel every day. So if you want to feel peace every day, or joy, or excitement about life, what would you need to be thinking in order to feel those emotions? And if you felt those emotions, what new results might you begin to get because you'd be ready to take new steps in your life? So this is the power of step number 2. Now, we're going to just create the thought script. This is a fun, creative exercise to get you beginning to see new possibilities in your thinking. In our next video, we're going to talk about step 3, which is how do you begin to make those thoughts your new habit? And I'm going to share some ideas with you on how to go about doing that. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you think of this video. Please like it. Please subscribe to our channel here. And I look forward to interacting with you this week as you gain insights. Come back and share the new thinking that you've created. And I'll give additional ideas on how to fine tune and amp it up and take it to a whole new level. We rise together.